I sat cross-legged on my hardwood floor, adrift in a sea of glossy photographs. The Vermont wedding from last weekend was a triumph. The bride's cream-colored gown against the fiery autumn foliage was exactly the contrast I had envisioned. My favorite shot captured the couple beneath a canopy of maples, their fingers barely touching as crimson leaves swirled around them. The phone rang. My mother's name flashed on the screen. I hesitated, my finger hovering, before answering. "Hi, Mom." I tucked the phone between my ear and shoulder, still organizing prints. "Courtney." Her voice had that familiar, crisp edge. "We need to talk about Lily's wedding." I smiled. I was planning to call her. "I have some photography ideas that would be perfect for." "You'll ruin your sister's wedding." The words were ice. "Don't come." My coffee cup slipped, shattering on the floor. Hot liquid bled across the photographs, ruining hours of work. I barely noticed. "What?" My voice sounded distant, like it belonged to someone else. "Lily needs all the attention," Margaret continued, her tone unyielding. "Your success would overshadow her day." The room tilted. I gripped the edge of my desk. "Mom, that's insane. I'm her only sister. All guests have received their invitations." Each word was a hammer blow. "Everyone except you." The old, familiar feeling of childhood abandonment flooded back, being cropped out of family photos, my artwork replaced by Lily's stick figures on the fridge. "Mom, I've photographed 180 weddings." I could help. I hated the pleading in my voice but couldn't stop it. "This doesn't make any sense. Think of it as your gift to Lily," she said, her voice softening into something worse than anger, pity. "You've always needed to be the center of attention. For once, let your sister have her moment." My throat tightened. "Let me talk to Lily. This can't be what she wants." "She agrees completely. This was partly her idea." The lie hung between us. Or maybe it wasn't a lie, which hurt even more. I hung up and immediately dialed my father. "Court? Everything okay?" "Dad, Mom just told me I'm not invited to Lily's wedding." "That can't be right." His pause told me everything. "It's for the best, Court." His voice carried the same defeated tone he'd used when he asked me to hide my first photography trophy so Lily wouldn't feel bad. "You don't mean that. Your absence is a gift to your sister," he said. "Be selfless for once." The words sliced through years of pretending this dynamic didn't exist. My mind flashed to Ethan, framing my first magazine cover, his genuine pride a stark contrast to my parents' silence. I looked down at the ruined photographs, moments of pure love I'd captured for strangers. A new resolve, cold and clear, settled in my chest. "I won't beg for an invitation to my own sister's wedding," I said, my voice stronger than I expected. "Don't be dramatic," my mother cut in. They were on speakerphone. "Think about someone besides yourself. I've spent my entire life thinking about everyone else." My voice remained steady despite the earthquake inside me. "Hiding my accomplishments. Making myself smaller. All your cousins will be there," my father said. "Everyone's looking forward to celebrating with Lily. Don't make this difficult." The unspoken message was clear. The family narrative about me, the selfish, attention-seeking sister, was already written. "I understand," I said finally. Though I didn't. Not really. What I understood was that this pattern would continue forever unless I broke it. I ended the call just as the front door opened. Ethan walked in, stopping short when he saw me surrounded by the wreckage. "Courtney, what happened?" His concern was a bomb. The story tumbled out between sobs, the uninvitation, the justifications, the lifetime of being diminished. He knelt beside me, carefully avoiding the shattered ceramic. "They've done this your entire life. It's not right." He helped me salvage what we could, his hands gentle. After a moment, he said quietly, "Your sister's wedding is about her. But your life is about you." I looked up at him, seeing everything with sudden, painful clarity. The choice wasn't between attending the wedding or staying home. It was between continuing to make myself smaller or finally standing at my full height. I've spent my life making myself smaller, I whispered. Maybe it's time to stand tall. The following weeks were a slow ache. I buried myself in work, but my phone remained silent, no calls from my mother, no texts from Lily. The wound festered. Then my friend Amanda called. Court, you won't believe what Lily just posted. Miami Beach. An $800,000 budget. White tulips flown in from Holland. My stomach twisted. $800,000? Bradley's parents are covering most of it, Amanda whispered. But there's something else. Jenny from the wedding party overheard Bradley. He told Lily he didn't want you there. Said you make everything about yourself. He's never even met me. Jenny heard Lily telling him stories about you stealing attention at her Sweet 16, about your scholarship ceremony overshadowing her debate win. None of that happened. We'd rushed from my 10-minute ceremony to get to her competition. After the call, I opened Instagram. My mother's latest post was a photo of Lily and Bradley, champagne flutes raised. The caption read, "Sometimes the kindest thing is to step back and let others shine." The message was meant for me. That afternoon, I dug through old family albums. The pattern emerged, undeniable. In every portrait, I stood slightly behind Lily, off-center. My grandparents' pride in my first exhibit had visibly dimmed after my mother whispered to them. It wasn't isolated incidents, it was systematic. Ethan found me surrounded by evidence. He sat beside me and opened his laptop, pulling up a folder labeled Client Reviews. Courtney didn't just photograph our wedding, he read. She captured the exact moment I realized I would spend my life with this person. She has a gift for seeing people as they truly are. He read another, and another, dozens of testimonials praising my ability to capture authentic emotion. These people see you, Ethan said simply. Your family can't. I stared at a photograph of my 16-year-old self, holding my first DSLR, careful not to smile too wide because Lily had gotten a B on a test. My whole life, I thought if I just achieved enough, they'd finally be proud. That was never the deal, was it? Ethan said softly. The deal was that you would always diminish yourself so Lily could feel exceptional. That's their story, I whispered. Not mine. Later, Ethan found me on the couch, scrolling through images on his laptop. Remember Giovanni? The director from Milan? He rents his family villa for weddings. He showed me pictures of a stone terrace perched above the Amalfi Coast, the Mediterranean stretching to the horizon. It's available September 15th. A month before Lily's wedding. You think we should get married right before my sister? I think we should get married when and where we want to, he said. Not waiting for a permission they'll never give. I looked at the villa, my photographer's eye composing the shot, evening light on ancient stone, Ethan waiting for me against that impossible blue. For the first time since that phone call, I felt something other than hurt. It felt like power. Yes, I said, the word settling into my bones. Let's do it. The next morning, I called my mother. Courtney, is everything all right? Everything's fine, Mom. Better than fine. Ethan and I are getting married. Silence. Then, you can't possibly plan a wedding while Lily is planning hers. This will upset her terribly. I'm not asking permission, Mom. I'm sharing news. It will be small. In Italy. It won't affect Lily's wedding at all. This is exactly what I mean about you always needing attention, she snapped. First you make a fuss about not being invited, now this? This isn't about Lily. This is about the life Ethan and I are building. Richard, she called out. Courtney is trying to upstage Lily's wedding with her own. I need to go, Mom. I just wanted you to hear it from me. Courtney. Goodbye, Mom. I ended the call. I waited for the guilt, but instead, I felt only lightness. On our wedding day, I stood on the terrace of Giovanni's villa, the scent of jasmine thick in the air. The September sun cast everything in the perfect golden light I'd spent my career chasing. "Is it everything you hoped for?" Ethan asked, his arm around my waist. "Better," I breathed. Our 25 guests, our chosen family, mingled behind us. My photographer friends, James and Vanessa, moved with silent precision, capturing the scene. There were no staged moments, only truth. I walked toward Ethan alone to the sound of a song we'd discovered on our first road trip. No one was giving me away because I belonged to myself first. His vows were steady. "I promise to see you, not just look at you, but truly see you. To celebrate your success as my own." My hands trembled as I unfolded my paper. "I promise to stand tall beside you. To create beauty without apology. To remember that love doesn't require permission." As we exchanged rings, the Mediterranean turned to liquid gold behind us. When the officiant pronounced us married, the applause was genuine, a celebration from people who truly wanted our happiness. Later, as twilight deepened and strings of lights glowed above the terrace, James found me. "I got something you should see." He showed me his camera display, a shot of Ethan and me in profile, our hands joined, the jasmine-framed vista of sea and sky behind us awash in gold. It was perfect. "Art. Do you mind if I post this?" he asked. I nodded, speechless. That single image went viral overnight. Comments poured in from strangers, colleagues, and even the Helena Baxter, whose work had inspired me to become a photographer. "Most beautiful ceremony I've ever seen," she wrote. The Italian Tourism Board shared it. Magazines requested features. The narrative had been rewritten, not by me, but by the undeniable truth of that moment. As Ethan and I stood in Giovanni's garden under a blanket of stars, he asked, "How does it feel?" I looked at him, then back at the villa, at our friends laughing on the terrace, at the proof of our joy glowing on my phone screen. "It feels," I said, "like stepping into the best photograph I've ever taken. And realizing I'm finally exactly where I belong."